You could look into my eyes. Under the moonlight, this serious moonlight. And if you say run, I'll run with you. And if you say hide, we'll hide. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms and tremble like a flower. Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. Under the moonlight, the serious moonlight.
The other day, my friend confided in me. She said that she'd been feeling depressed, and worse than that, she'd been feeling incredibly alone in her situation. This struck a chord with me because not too long ago I too was feeling depressed, and I too was feeling incredibly alone and somewhat ashamed about my feelings. So I started to ask a few friends about whether they'd ever experienced depression or any other symptoms related to mental health. Every single one of them said they had, and almost all of them had never spoken to me or anyone else about it. Mental illness is a thing. It exists. In fact, 1 in 4 people will experience a mental illness in their lifetime. So if you're not affected by it, then one of your friends and family are. And if you don't know anyone with a mental illness, it's probably because they haven't told you, and they haven't told you because there's a social stigma attached to mental health. From what I've seen, more often than not, people dealing with a mental illness find it harder to deal with the stigma than they do the mental illness itself. And that is crazy because the stigma is created by us. So a mental illness constitutes as anxiety, anorexia, depression, bipolar disorder, OCD, schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress, and borderline personality disorder. Ultimately, we need to find an effective medication and treatment to deal with these illnesses. And that is happening. Every year that passes, we become increasingly knowledgeable about mental illnesses. Depression, for example, is one of the best documented illnesses in the world. However, what we're not doing is talking about it. And until we do that, nothing's going to change. Now, the stigma surrounding mental health isn't surprising at all. A mental illness generally suggests that something is wrong with the brain. Our brain is our control center. It's responsible for everything we do. And the idea of something being wrong with the brain generally suggests that we're out of control. And as humans, we hate that idea. We hate it so much that we just don't talk about it. We sweep it under the rug and pretend that it's not there. But it is. Mental illnesses are a thing. They're real and they're very present, and we need to talk about them. A guy called Kevin Briel put it like this: when we break our arm, everyone runs forward to sign the cast, but when we say we have depression, everyone runs the other way. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I know that my heart is an organ the same as my brain is an organ. So why don't we treat them the same? Mental health disabilities are an illness, not a weakness. They are an issue, not an identity. It's okay to be suffering from a mental illness, but it's not okay to not talk about it, because then we achieve nothing. I've opened up a discussion board on our website, and I'd like to know your thoughts on the stigma surrounding mental health. If it's easier, feel free to use the comments below. Also, if you're a creator on this platform, whether you have an audience large or small, I challenge you to talk about mental health. This year should be the year that we talk about it, and the internet should be the place where that starts. I'd also love to create some sort of event around this year, some sort of event to raise awareness and also money for mental health. If you have any thoughts surrounding that, Let me know that in the comments below. And finally, there are some amazing charities surrounding mental health and creating awareness of mental health, specifically Mind and the Time to Change campaign. I'll leave all the links for that in the box below. Anyway, those are my thoughts for this week. On another note entirely, we have a short documentary coming out next week, so keep an eye out for that. And that is everything. I will see you soon. Goodbye.